Hi, and welcome to That's Already Mysterious. Join me for an intriguing look into real-life mysteries. Who was the mad gasser of Mattoon? What was whaling at the Wilga waterhole? I'm not going to solve those mysteries, but they'll be interesting to learn about. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. Transcripts and references for all episodes can be found at that'sreadymysterious.wordpress.com. No apostrophe and no exclamation point. Today's tale is about the Nazca Lines. John Reinhard, National Geographic explorer in residence, wrote in his book, The Nazca Lines, a new perspective on their origin and meanings. It seems likely that most of the lines did not point at anything on the geographical or celestial horizon, but rather led to places where rituals were performed to obtain water and fertility of crops. The Nazca Lines are large line drawings that can be found in the land northwest of the city of Nazca in southern Peru. They're just about 450 kilometers or over 200 miles southwest of Lima, Peru. From a distance, they look like they have been etched into the Earth's surface. They can be found in the Pampa Colorada or Colored Plain or Red Plain. They cover an area of about 190 square kilometers or just over 73 square miles. The area in which the Nazca Lines can be found is one of the driest regions on Earth. The lines span from the plains of Peru's eastern coast to northern Chile. The Nazca Lines were discovered in the 1920s. Peruvian archaeologist Toribio Mejia Zespia was the first to systematically study the Nazca Lines in 1927. However, the full scope of the lines wasn't fully appreciated until the 1930s when commercial flights began flying over the Nazca Desert in Peru. It's likely that local people were aware of the lines before this, but the full picture wasn't seen until it was seen from the air. The Nazca Lines are composed of over 800 straight lines, 300 geometric figures, and 70 biomorphs or animal and plant signs. The longest line is about 20 kilometers or a little over 12 miles long. The total combined length of all the lines is estimated to be 1,300 kilometers or over 800 miles. The biomorphs range from about 15 meters or 50 feet to 365 3/4 meters or 1,200 feet in length. The largest figure is a bird that measures about 300 meters or around 990 feet. The second largest figure is a lizard that measures 150 meters or about 595 feet. In some places, the land looks like a chalkboard with lines overlapping and with lines of both ancient and modern origin. Most of the lines were constructed more than 2,000 years ago by the people of the Nazca culture. The majority of the lines date to between 200 BC and 500 CE. The earliest lines, made by piling stones up, date to around 500 BC. The Nazca culture flourished from about the year 1 to 700 CE. They were known for their advanced pottery, textiles, and irrigation systems. The lines were their most enduring legacy. Some of the lines, however, predate the Nazca people and are thought to be the work of the earlier Paracas culture, which thrived between about 800 and 100 BC. The earlier geoglyphs are often human-like and have some similarities to even earlier petroglyphs in the area. The subject of the lines are usually plants and animals. There is a monkey with a curled tail that measures about 110 meters or about 360 feet. A killer whale measures 65 meters or 210 feet. There's a bird that looks like a condor which measures 135 meters or about 443 feet. A hummingbird measures 50 meters or 165 feet. A pelican is 285 meters or 935 feet. There's a spider that measures 46 meters or 150 feet. There is also a dog, shark, fish, lizard, parrot, flamingo, iguana, llamas, a jaguar, and a fox. There are plant drawings including various flowers, trees, and other plants, but there are fewer of these than the animals. In addition to the biomorphs, there are geometric shapes including triangles, trapezoids, spirals, straight lines, and zigzags, some stretching for miles. There are humanoid shapes. The astronaut looks like a figure with large eyes and waving. There's a person holding what looks like a club with its head flying away. There's also a person with long hair and arms that are sticking out. There are also abstract forms, including some that appear to be tripods and looms. Scholars believe that the Nazca people used grids, stakes, and ropes to scale up smaller designs. The construction most likely required coordinated work between large groups of people. The lines were created by removing dark, oxidized surface rocks to reveal the lighter soil beneath. The lines have been interpreted in different ways, but their significance remains a mystery. In 1941, American historian Paul Kosik looked at the lines from an airplane. On June 22, 1941, he was at the foot of a line one day after the solstice when he noticed that the sunset was in direct alignment with the line. Kosik guessed that the lines were drawn for astronomical purposes. He called the area the largest astronomy book in the world. German translator Maria Ricci, the Lady of the Lines, studied the lines for 40 years and lobbied for their preservation. She believed they were a huge astronomical calendar and that some of the animal lines were modeled after constellations in the sky. This theory was fully accepted until about the 1970s. American physicist Gerald Hawkins said in 1967 that he had found no connection between changes in celestial bodies and the lines. In 1997, an international team of archaeologists, geographers, archaeometrists, and others created the Nazca Pulpa project to document and analyze the lines and similar geoglyphs near the town of Pulpa. The theory of the group is that the platforms at one end of many of the lines show that they were intended for ceremonial processionals. There is some evidence that shows the ceremonies may have been water-related religious ceremonies. Were the lines created to honor the gods, particularly those associated with water and fertility? Some believe the lines were intended for the gods to see from the sky. There are some people that believe the lines were created for navigational purposes, while others think they were a form of cultural expression that shows reverence for nature and spiritual beliefs. It's also possible the lines were created for water and irrigation purposes. They might have symbolized rivers, canals, and other water-related features. Many of the lines and shapes point toward water sources in the hills and mountains. The trapezoid shapes usually align with water directions. Major sites like Vantia and Kawachi are connected by the geoglyphs. Anthony Evany, a former National Geographic grantee, said, "Our discoveries clearly show that the straight lines and trapezoids are related to water, but not used to find water, but rather used in connection with rituals." He also said, "The trapezoids are big, wide spaces where people can come in and out. The rituals were likely involved with the ancient need to propitiate or pay a debt to the gods, probably to plead for water." Reinhardt explained that spiral designs can be seen at other ancient Peruvian sites as well, and that biomorphs are common throughout the Andes mountain range. Spiders are believed to be signs of rain, hummingbirds are associated with fertility, and monkeys are found in the Amazon, which is an area that is abundant with water. He said that there isn't a single theory about the lines, but a combination of archaeology, ethnohistory, and anthropology have combined to build a solid case. Some people even theorize that the lines were created by or for aliens. The scale and precision of the lines suggests they were created using advanced technology not available to the people of the time. This theory is dismissed by scholars as speculative and lacking evidence. Kosik and Ricci say that alien theory doesn't give the people of the time and area the credit they deserve. The theory falls into prejudice, according to them. A group of researchers from America went to study the glyphs, and their newer research shows that the lines were neither created by or for aliens, nor were they an astronomical calendar. Technological advancements have helped with the study of the lines. Satellites and drones have given a better view of the lines. They have led to the discovery of new geoglyphs. They have found animals and abstract patterns that were not known about before. The Nazca Lines have been preserved by the area's naturally dry climate and by winds that clear out the sand grooves. Because of the arid climate and lack of major winds, the lines have stayed mostly intact for 500 to 2,000 years. Although the lines have survived for centuries, human activities today are destroying them. In 2014, a Greenpeace protest damaged some of the lines. Climate change and the occasional heavy rains are eroding the lines. Urban expansion, mining, and tourism are all affecting the lines. The lizard was one of the biggest biomorphs until the Pan-American Highway was built and transected the lines. Despite the figures being almost indecipherable on the ground, some people say you have to walk the lines to understand their meaning. Some say they are sacred paths. The Nazca Lines were added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1994. Today there are flights available for the public to view the lines. Why were the Nazca Lines built? Were they created for religious purposes? Or maybe to find water? What do you think? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Thanks for listening to today's episode of That's Ready Mysterious. Join me next week for another captivating mystery.